DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Intel, and Monster Energy.
We've wrapped up the group stage competition over in EU. Now it's time to do the same here in NA. Our final game will determine which team will hang on to their tournament life, and it's going to be a grudge match as Cloud9 take on TeamOne. My name is Freya, your host for the duration of the day, and joining me, of course, the wonderful smiling faces of Potter and Blair. But it's a bittersweet moment, isn't it, Sudan? Because on one hand, we're taking that step closer to crowning a champion, but on the other, we are saying goodbye to some fantastic teams.
Yeah, that's the way the cookie unfortunately crumbled. One's got to go home or rather stay home and other teams move ahead. I'm excited about this game though. I feel like with a lot on the line right now, TeamOne have impressed me. I won't lie, hitting in this event, you had some big names. Unfortunately, we didn't see Genji or EG or 100 Thieves being able to play, and then you have these replacements coming in, and TeamOne have impressed me quite a bit, taking a map Furia, knocking down Cloud9 to the lower brackets. This matchup, there's a lot at stake here.
It really is, and I'm interested to see where Twitch chats are lying on this one. So make sure you're putting your votes in down below. Make sure you're using #1 if you think the Brazilian underdogs are going to be taking it, or C9 if you think it's going to be coming home for the NA Giants. But I think with that, we can start off to talk about TeamOne in a little bit more depth, because I think a lot of people would be correct in saying, you know, they might have written off that victory against Cloud9 as maybe just a lucky run. But then we see them take on Furia, and they managed to take a map, Christine. That was pretty crazy.
That was crazy. And you know, sometimes when you watch a new up-and-coming team, you look at the eye test. You see, do they have the mechanical skills to go toe-to-toe up with the best of them? And you know what? TeamOne showed us that they absolutely can. Even taking a map off of Furia, as you mentioned, Freya. And in that Mirage, we had absolute show-stopping performances from Barton specifically. Look at him. He has the AWP in his hands. He was constantly pushing forward, but it was actually his rifle work and entries that was most impressive across the board, especially on this Mirage.
Yeah, do you think we can start to unpick that map win against Fury a little bit more? Obviously, they didn't take the series. Nobody was expecting them to. But Blair, on the other side of things, no one was expecting them to even take a map. So what were they doing that was so good there?
I don't know. I think they're just playing with a lot of confidence. Maybe these Brazilian teams I've seen, I didn't have much of a chance to watch TeamOne that much, but at least from watching Yeah Gaming, for example, I feel like they've taken a page or a couple of pages out of Furia's playbook, which is being hyper aggressive, in your face, fun Brazilian style of CS. It's fun to watch. And I also feel like Furia are a team who kind of, I wouldn't say make mistakes, but they seem to throw a few rounds. They're just looking to have fun, just trying to be a little, play a little bit too much their style, allowing certain teams to pull off maybe an upset map win, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. We sort of look back to the gaming game, and yeah, there was definitely a chance of, they just wanted to have some fun in the server. But looking at that game yesterday against TeamOne, there was actually no fun to be had for Furia in some of those rounds, Christine. I mean, I kind of want to start off talking about Barton. You mentioned him. He was just a pure fragging machine in some of those rounds, and he was really out-furiering Furia sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. And Barton, he wasn't alone. I said he was the man entering, but really, we got to talk about mobs again. I know Maui's a huge fan of this youngster, 17 years old, the only Guatemalan on this lineup. And yesterday, he absolutely showed up as well. It seemed like these three, and Barton, Malbs, and Pesadillo, they were the most consistent factors. Now, coming into today, I'd like to see a little bit more coming out of Maluk. I know with that AWP on train specifically, he had some banger rounds, but that was in the beginning. That was when already TeamOne were kind of putting the rounds on the board, making things close. But as soon as they started losing, as soon as Furia started putting up a bigger, better fight, Maluk kind of quieted down just a little bit. So today, I'd like to see if Maluk can get involved a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. And I do want to pick up on Malbs as well, because I feel like we might have glossed over him a little bit. You know, he's actually a stand-in for this lineup replacing TRK, which, you know, that might have seemed to some people like there would be a big hole left in this roster. But from what we saw yesterday, Potter, it seems like he's filled it quite well.
He has. He really has. And I mean, if I'm TeamOne right now, I'm making that stand-in status maybe a little bit more permanent moving forward, because as I mentioned, he's only 17. And I keep saying that, but that's how important it is. He's got such a bright future ahead of him. The potential for the mechanical skill that he has, hey, you throw some discipline in there, you throw some teamwork and experience into the mix with those mechanics, Malbs is looking like a fantastic up-and-comer.
Well, speak of the devil, and he may appear. We had a chance to chat with him ahead of this matchup, so let's take a look.
In the first map on train, I wasn't feeling that comfortable. Like, I couldn't find myself in the game, and I felt like I wasn't doing good. In Mirage, I really stepped up. I had some really nice frags, and I did everything okay. And on Nuke, they just played Furia just played a really aggressive game, and we couldn't like figure out what was happening, and I couldn't take some easy frags I should have taken, you know, and that was all. Okay, we technically have that more aggressive game than Cloud9, and I think now getting the experience of playing against a team like Furia, we can easily, like, we learned about aggro plays that we should not be losing to, and now with that, I think that we're gonna be improving a lot, like more, and it will be easier for us now. And yeah, Cloud9 should be scared.
I think they will be very scared going forward, Malbs, considering you have already beat them once already this tournament. And man, it wasn't even really a close one. You know, Cloud9 taking the map of Nuke in overtime, but then Inferno, what was that, 16-4 to the side of Team1, and then again Dust2 16-5 to the side of Team1. So Blair, what are you making going forward for Cloud9 in this?
I completely agree with Malbs. They should be a little scared. I feel like Cloud9 right now in a weird spot, right? OC, you know, the player who I've enjoyed watching at least the game, which I had the opportunity to break down a couple of days back. Floppy has been a little floppy of late, which is unfortunate because he is a win condition for this team, right? He needs to really step it up. Sonic, as usual, he has those really big games and he has like off games. But I feel like OC and MOTM have been pretty consistent so far for this team. But that game, Potter, if you remember, where it went to like, I don't know how many overtimes, 4 or 5 overtimes. Earlier it was against Yeah Gaming, and then they played them again, which they won a little bit more convincingly in one of the other qualifiers they played after the game here on DreamHack Open. But it's just inconsistent. The way they're winning it, it's too close for comfort. They should be winning against teams like that way more convincingly, especially when they're trying to be kind of like, you know, be in this upper echelon when it comes to NACS, being a top 3 team. But right now, just based off an eye test, they're far from it. And when you're going to be losing to a team like TeamOne, who, let's be honest, no one expected really would even take a map, it's worrying signs. It's very worrying signs. And I really hope, for their sake, that they really pull up the pants and put in a show here.
Yeah, we can hope so indeed. And I sort of wanted to touch on what we were saying earlier, Christine. You know, that loss against Team1 already. What do you think Cloud9 really need to be focusing on coming into this one to ensure that they just don't lose out again?
You know, that's a tough one to say, right? Because Cloud9, they're so fast-paced. And I gotta say, I think when their game plan, their plan A doesn't work, their plan B, it's so far away from their comfort level that maybe they need a plan A and a half for these Cloud9 guys to give them that comfort level that they're looking for. Because when they're not fast-paced, when Sonic isn't in your face with 5 flashbangs finding the entries, their second layer, their second step is lackluster. I do think that OC, his clutching ability, is what saved Cloud9 time after time. So certainly, If he's still able to do that and the rest of his squad is able to pick up the pace because we know that they can, OC's job's going to look easier. Everything should look easier for Cloud9.
Yeah, that's very true. And I do just want to touch upon Floppy as a player. You know, you were saying about him earlier, Blair, not really stepping up to the plate. And I mean, just looking at some of his statistics from the past game they played against TeamOne, only 36 frags over the entire 3 maps. So for you, is he somebody that you're sort of looking to step up a little bit?
100%. Look, I don't want to put that responsibility or the weight on one player, right? But it is what it is for Cloud9 to be a little bit more consistent. They need this player to really step up. And Floppy, yeah, he's just been kind of missing, I feel like. But if he does show up to play here, I feel it's going to heavily tilt the way of Cloud9. They are still a better team over here. But yeah, him missing has been a problem for them so far in this event.
Well, speaking of Floppy, we had a chance to check in with him ahead of this series. So let's see what he had to say.
Single AK for Tatus, a desperate attempt to get something down here on this B site, and Floppy solid.
So after our game against Yeah Gaming, I can definitely say we played better compared to TeamOne, and we're starting to warm up as a team after this player break. So I think we're definitely playing a little bit better.
Flank's now open, and he knows it. They're getting ever closer. They're knocking on his door, and he is slapping him back with off shots connecting.
I think Yeah Gaming are actually a pretty good team. They have a lot of good individual skill, and they know how to like work together as a team and catch people off guard as well. So it's just our duty to really just counteract that.
Has to creep crawling, and he gets it. The headshot versus Dumao, the double onto RCF. Fastens on the ball.
Playing these games is definitely helping us get out of this like vacation mode / like rusty mode. So I think it's good.
And he has Bartin in close proximity to help him out. OC with 2 of his own. Surely over. OC switching to the Glock and with the spray out.
Yeah, so if we rematch against TeamOne, I think it's going to be a lot more close because I think we've, in the past like 2 days that we've been discussing stuff, it's we've obviously learned a little bit from it after beating Yeah Gaming. So I think going against TeamOne is going to be a lot better. I mean, I love Brazil, but they're definitely going to put up a fight no matter what. So.
Floppy is definitely right there. The Brazilians aren't out until they are gone. And speaking of which, we're going to take a look at the map veto, which I think is going to be a really interesting one. As we mentioned, these 2 teams have already faced each other in a best of 3. So Blair, where do you think this one's heading?
TeamOne, their map vetoes are weird, right? Like, so Vertigo and Mirage is going to go out. Vertigo is going to get banned by TeamOne. Mirage is going to get banned by Cloud9. That's the usual thing. They picked Nuke last time, a map they have a pretty terrible win percentage on, and they almost beat Cloud9 on it. So they're kind of wild. However, I feel they're going to play a little bit safer this time. I think Dustu is going to come out for TeamOne. I think Overpass should be the pick for Cloud9. I don't want them to go with something like Inferno. So Dustu, Overpass, and the final one is up in the air. Maybe Train. I think both the teams are going to be pretty comfortable, and it looks like so far I am right. I think Train might be the decider here. Boom, I'm a god.
You are totally correct, man. We don't even need a prediction graphic when we got.
We don't even need to say good job, Blair. He's going to say it himself.
Forever humble, Blair. But I think that leads us perfectly into the prediction time, guys. Blair, I'm actually going to start off with you to talk about this one a little bit, because you know what? You've had some good predictions today, but where are you starting with this one?
Look, TeamOne, they had a kind of a Cinderella run so far, you know, taking map of Furia. They beat Cloud9 earlier. Cloud9, in my books, is still the better team. Yes, they have a lot of kinks which you need to work out right now, but I feel like they've kind of woken up, right? Like that close game they had against Yeah Gaming, the loss to TeamOne, they should have kind of slapped them awake. So I'm expecting them to win the series, but I'm going to say it is going to be closer than they would be very comfortable with, but it should be Cloud9.
I think it will be indeed. What about you, Christine? Who are you siding with?
I'm going with Cloud9 here as well. I have high hopes for TeamOne moving forward. I mean, if Cloud9 haven't shaken off at least a little bit of that rust after this player break, then TeamOne are going to take this series. But Cloud9 should be a better team every single day of the week.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good point, just based off what Floppy just said. The fact that, you know, they're coming off that player break, feeling a little bit rusty, and they feel like, at least within themselves, that they're getting a bit better. But having said that, I love an underdog story, and I especially love it when it's a Brazilian team that mimics Furia. So I am going to be siding with TeamOne on this one. I do think it's going to go to the full 3 maps, but yeah, I'm hoping
Endpoint didn't win. Just because
I've got to go for easy picks now. You know what? My prediction rate doesn't even count for today, but I still believe that TeamOne are going to be taking it. And I'm hoping that Twitch chat might agree with me again. Let's take a look at where this is siding. Oh, 61% with Cloud9. But yeah, very close indeed. But
major winners.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's the thing coming into this. Do you actually feel like it might go to the 3 maps there?
Yeah. I'm going to give that much respect to TeamOne.
Well, with that being said, I think it's time to kick things off. Our final group stage game of the day and a last-ditch attempt for either of these teams to keep their tournament life. Only one will prove victorious. Will it be the underdogs of TeamOne, or can Cloud9 silence them? Find out after this.
Well, good afternoon, Twitch chat. Hope all you freaks are doing well. It's me and Vince back at you with another best of 3 today for the North American coverage, and we've only got one game, Vince, so you better give it your all.
I plan to, Scrawny, I plan to. Our voices are both a little bit raw after yesterday's shenanigans.
Damn, John G.
Unbelievable moments. Honestly, we've had some great games, and I'm hoping today is going to deliver again. I think it could. I think it could be a close one. I think both teams are going to be pretty aggressive. And TeamOne, again, the pressure's off their shoulders. You saw Molbs before, just in that interview. So young. Like, it's insane how many years that guy has ahead of him and how good he is already. He seemed pretty calm to me. He didn't seem like he was shying away from the spotlight that much. Seems like he wants to get into this and put himself in the shop window and show the world that he is the next talent from South America. So let's see how this one comes down on Dust 2.
Yeah, let's do it. That's where this party gets going. And, well, I'm curious as to who gets rolling early on. Because, yeah, we've got to keep our eyes on Molbs. He showed us some very real promise versus Furia. But not across that first map, Vince. That first map versus Furia was all Barton. And I hope he's got some more bite behind his bark. Because he has now kind of elevated my expectations. So, coming into Cloud9, I think that what resonates most with me is Molb's final words. Cloud9 should be scared. But he's dead now. He's the first casualty of the game. So how'd that go for you, kid? Tries to play through tunnels, gets wrecked, and 3T's looking to pressure the tunnels perhaps into that B bomb site. But we've already got quite the hot rotation coming out from Cloud9. Floppy, he pops up, and he drops one player. Modem and Sonic with a kill apiece, leaves Pesa on his own, and a 1v5 never meant to happen. That's Cloud9 with an easy peasy pistol.
Oh, yeah, that was clean, right? Barely any resistance at all. Resistance futile for Pesa, even though he gets the one kill, doesn't really mean anything. And now Cloud9 straight into it. No haphazard plays here. 4 assault rifles, 1 MP9. Scout for Maluk, a player that they wanted to see more from on the desk, and I completely agree. And if you're going to kickstart things off with Dust 2 and you have Train as a potential third, you need your AWPers firing on all cylinders. So let's see how Maluk starts here. Cloud9 aggressively going to be moving in towards long, have some control, and it is the MP9 wielding JT playing up close. So playing to that weapon strength, while TeamOne basically just feel out the rest of the map. They're poking and probing and hoping that maybe C9 move into some awkward angles of aggression, but there's no need for the CTs here, Strawny. If they stay in spot, they should be good.
Could be, being the operative. Revenge from the pistol round. Blinded and still able to body bag off with the deagle. Pesa gets that second one, and it's a little bit labored. Sonic making up for poor JT, who was kind of robbed of his one kill. So we get that double frag coming off of Cloud9's long setup. It works enough to shave off the numbers, but what scares me is they now have hands on an M4 and an MP9. So if Maluk sits back on the scout, they're going to move those automatic weapons closer to the bomb site, hoping for what they were just looking for at the start of the round, a bomb plant. But Barton, not just the M4, Vince, he also has that Kevlar. Aim punch will not play a factor, which makes him a very real threat. In fact, he's got the best gun over top of the 3 CTs that still remain, but they waste no time moving forward around the catwalk, killing Pesa. Barton lines him up, can't quite get that second kill, so Maluk's scout, not enough, but holy hell, it's close.
it's an excellent round for TeamOne. Sure, they did force into the round, so it's not as if it was an eco and they can now come back with AKs, but they do have some options with that post plant, and they know that Cloud9's economy is running dry, but it's especially good because you take into account that this is a map where AWPing is so important, and that puts Cloud9's economy already on the ropes. So OC's not going to be able to have an AWP for a couple of rounds at least, you'd imagine, depending on if they win or not. And TeamOne, do they go in for this? Do they actually force? No. They're going to go for a half. Deagle's Kevlar behind it with a chance to do further damage. Scout has been picked up by MOTM, but again, they are lacking that big AWP in anyone's hands, and it seems like TeamOne, they're about to speed things up somewhat. All 5 of them move into tunnels. Floppy alone with a FAMAS to try and fend this off. They're not pushing just yet, but they're about to line up some smokes and nades.
Floppy, the one-man army. Very much on his own here. Buys a little bit of time, shoots off into the 2, and a little bit more damage done. So, excellently held on to, considering he was the only piece in place. Modem, dude, this guy wastes no time when it comes to this flank, and it's the second round already this map where he has found the first kill behind the T's without them knowing what's up. Deagle from Maluk takes way too many shots on the first player to come in with the multi-kill. So, it's pretty streamlined. Cloud9 using Floppy to make sure they had that early man advantage, and then the retake just sweeps straight through. Cloud9, they have had a chance to, as Floppy alluded to, warm up versus, a couple of other teams since the player break has come to an end. And TeamOne caught them off guard. They still had sleepy eyes in their opening matchup, according to Floppy, of course. TeamOne are going to be saying, bro, that was legit. And so was our win versus Furia. Here we have it, the buy that we all wanted. Maluk's on his ops, Sonic's got his. The big green on long A, blinded immediately. And Pesa's got a difficult job of trying to close that distance. Look at it, dodge bullets, and he does so well. A bunch of players grouped up at the bottom of mid. Sonic, he could go for a boost, but they've already surpassed that tunnel's position.
OC did catch quite a few players around the corner, so it'll be information. Incendiary tossed in from MOTM. PRT tagged down behind the Xbox, 41 HP separating him and an early bath. In round 4, the Brazilians hoping that they can convert that opening pick into something more. And MOTM hiding behind the smoke. Is he going to go and peek behind this? This does afford them the luxury of going up catwalk without being spotted from the backside of middle. But MOTM going to smoke himself into a better angle towards A. You have to roll the dice when you're a player behind in situations like this. There's not too much utility that they have at their disposal. So Sonic perched up on the site. You feel like he's going to have some impact, going to have to sting the oncoming T's, and he starts off with 1. Not quite able to connect his second. That's giving up some room, and Maluk will punish him for trying to jump up on the boxes. But there's still more CTs here. A slight gap in the smoke has not been filled in, and MOTM going to punish. Maluk sprayed up down there in the head. And with 23 seconds left on the clock, TeamOne forced to try and just get that bomb down as quickly as possible. But their position's going to be very tentative on the retake now as Barton's all alone. He had a phenomenal performance yesterday, but it won't be carrying on just yet. And Cloud9 lose the first player in the round, lose the first player in the retake, but still get the job done.
Hell yeah, they do. But you can see the HP that's left over. Everybody's sub 50. So Cloud9 just being a little bit more sharp. Both players stabbed. But clearly Cloud9, longer blade. We had Sonic try and jump up on top of the box. That is what got them onto the bomb site. That gap in the cross definitely lent a helping hand to Modem. And I would also say important frag from JT. As Sonic went down on the bomb site, JT, who was already close to a cat push, goes further, kills the Xbox player for TeamOne, and leaves them all in from long instead. Sonic takes early damage this round, trying to go for that op fight in middle. He is one of 2 oppers. OC has the second. Floppy not going to be left alone on B this round, but rather a task handed to OC's op, opening Floppy to play outside the doors. And I think as a consistent B player, Floppy's going to be really happy about these door changes. It's going to enable him to just run right into that bomb site without hesitation, tries to play the close smoke. Now OC will play window instead. These guys have a really nice tethered system when it comes to the B-man defense. Utility comes soaring over the top. OC, ooh, he misses the first one. Floppy will be able to pick that up. JT gets the kill elsewhere, but it's now on OC, and he only gets the one. There's a CT close smoke, and the man advantage yet again held on to, but JT tries to go off the flash. This time, Vince, they are way more wary of Modem on that flank. I said he hit it on the timing twice already. And the third time, you saw how cautious Mobs was for it. Sonic attempts to get in, but there's the big play from the little kid. 4 frags for Mobs in round number 5.
Oh, Mobs, just a beautiful one tap. Great positioning as well, anticipating these plays. JT first walks into his crosshair. Exquisite stuff. He did have a slow start, but now he's certainly woken up. Cloud9, they do go in for a force. 2 AWPs still in play. So they've put together every single penny and cent that they possess. And they've thrown it into this round. And maybe Pacer was not expecting to run into 2 AWPs again. They have been chipping away at this economy from Cloud9 for the last few rounds. So I was surprised to see 2 AWPs. I'm sure they were as well. But now Sonic puts his Deagle to use. And that'll be weapons trading hands.
Ooh, dangerous game to play. Especially as you're already in a 2 versus 5. PRT, he's going to have to get something on the scoreboard here, Vince. You know, the only thing that gets TeamOne on the board is a 4K from Malbs. They come into this round versus just those 2 snipers, and it stings. You know, the cat player who pokes his head over top dies to Sonic's Deagle. Yeah, he's going to be regretting that one. He just wanted to get a little bit of information. Instead, it all spills onto him. Malbs, he's going to have to find the hard entry. Sonic holding the angle. No, just completely tucked, playing off of JT's contact instead. I like the setup, but the smoke actually counters out a bit of their usefulness. JT still waiting for his chance to strike, but now they've given over that ramp, and PRT, he finds the better angle. A 2v5 that looks somewhat doable, Vince. Sonic, he is still just beneath the bomb site. PRT, he doubles back to long A. He catches another one. They could win this.
Certainly in the realms of possibility, Scrawny. Lack of kits and nades. Going to be an issue, but Floppy going to alleviate some of that pressure that was mounting. PRT, so many angles. That triple peak is huge. So well played by Cloud9. They're going to have enough time for the defuse just about. I think it's going to be close, but they should have this in the bag. Indeed, they will. And that's really the worst case scenario for TeamOne. You just start to build up a head of steam. You feel like, okay, Cloud9's economy's in the dirt, and then suddenly it just re-emerges. You walk into an AWP, you walk into a Deagle early on, and you can see here from Goose, and then Sonic with that peak. This was the round-defining moment, and although they bravely battled back, it just wasn't enough in the end. 5-1 lead for Cloud9, and I'll just mention this, it's TeamOne's choice of map, and they're already struggling.
Yeah. Scary situation. I'm curious, you know, in that 2v5, there's a moment where in a 2 versus 5, you have to cut off the numbers, because if they just go in for that all 5 alive retake, you're done. There's no chance. And we saw the proactive play being taken there by the sniper moving back towards long. He cuts off that player who would have compromised his car position. But then, you know what I don't like? I don't like Malbs leaving the bomb site and just throwing himself over into the elbow corner where he has absolutely no cover. He would have had to pull off what Sonic did with the opening Deagle and just take the headshot off the stairs. But remember, you're outnumbered. I feel like in a 2v5, you have to make a move. But once you've gotten your 2v3 and the bomb planted, sit back, boys. You did your job, bud. Oh, Modem, he gets the job done. Straight off of the rebuy. He goes into the catwalk. He kills his first 2, makes it look easy. PRT can trade, and Maluk drops back Sonic's op, but now he's all alone here. 3 more players to find, 2 of which lie ahead. And then there's Modem, constantly a problem, as he's always on the flank.
Okay, but there's Floppy, yeah. It was always a case of the bait and switch coming into play, but at least Maluk is going to keep them down to 2 players surviving, so their economy does take a bit of a side turn. TeamOne now, though, can't really justify going for a full-on buy. It would be lacking so much firepower, utility, so they're going to go for a half buy instead. And Cloud9 looking good, looking very good to step things up and take a 7-1 lead. And the last time these two teams played each other, just a few days ago, it was MOTM and OC that were at the top of the scoreboard collectively in that best of 3 for C9. And on TeamOne, it was PRT and Pacer. And those two players haven't really shown us what they're capable of just yet. And I remember us saying the same thing against Furia, that PRT had a bit of a quiet game, Scrawny.
Ooh, headshots on display. JT, connect it. He will. But then he dies immediately thereafter. Now that puts a lot of pressure on OC. He dies empty-handed. Hang on. Oh, and Modem. Accidental jump, it looked like. He could have just had 4 players all lined up. Pressure immediately falls onto Sonic. He peeks around the side of the ramp and it works. Oh, but the repeat costs him. Floppy's gonna have to clutch in another Deagle headshot. TeamOne, an explosive round they have no business winning. But Cloud9 did the same to them just not long ago, Vince. Remember that double op setup? Now we're even. 1-1 in terms of the never should have won rounds. And yeah, Modem, that hop on the top of the staircase, he's going to regret that.
Those are some crazy 1-deeks, but that just felt like a case of a lot of unforced errors from Cloud9. As you said, MOTM hopping, he actually had a chance at a triple or quadruple spray down. I kind of whiffed it a little bit. They have gone in for another force, and speaking of the man, he's going aggressively up middle, but his partner in crime has been caught, and now MOTM's position, you can understand why he sits in there and hopes for the best. He's not anticipating they'd wide swing and check that angle, but maybe because Sonic was already pulling a nade out, it gave the position away. Now OC with his scout will be peering into middle and hoping he can find a pixel to execute onto. If he goes down without much of a fight, then it's going to be an awkward scenario. That shot looked like it was mighty close to landing, but apparently it didn't. And even though PRT takes the shot in the chest, he's okay to keep running forward. JT last man, 1v5, goes down without any casualties. And I say that as PRT just 1Gs. I don't even know what the hell that was about.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't play with fire, kids. Poor guy. Loses 1 gun, so be it. Reinvests his money. Everybody else still has a little bit of cash. He would have been right there with him, but instead, PRT will be paycheck to paycheck for the following few rounds. We've got half the round count for TeamOne, trailing by 3. And I mean, this long A stack, you've got to go for something with just your USPs, but it completely prioritizes the bomb walking into the B site. And there is 0 resistance, Vince. It's like fighting the French.
Yeah, not too much resistance in play. Cloud9 did get 1 kill, but that's it. They'll be able to afford an AWP, but it would be Floppy onto a glass cannon. Not really necessarily one of the first people that comes to mind when you think of an AWP on Cloud9. So he's going to go for the M4s instead, along with the rest of the team. And kits are absent. Head armor absent. Not that it really matters against AKs and AWPs, but the kit certainly could. Good flashbang tossed in. And Floppy will make the most of it. He feasts onto PRT, forcing them back from their incursions on long. And TeamOne need to regroup and have a quick think about what should be their next step.
I like this lean towards the B site we've seen. I can start to get behind this. I just like seeing Floppy and Co challenged here. I think, you know, he's not here at the moment, Vince. He's over on long, and I think that's going to draw him back. If they keep playing this B site, and Floppy is the anchor. But JT, he's going to be tucked. OC behind the car. He's going to have to try and give his teammate a little bit of cover. Hits the dink, gets the kill, finds the second with it. Almost the third, but Pesa, he's going to stop him then and there. 2 versus 2. Sonic wrapping around the tunnels as quickly as he can, and Floppy trying to find a little bit of timing from CT. Maluk, he posts up on the op. Sonic hears it. Oh, he hits the headshot, but it's not the kill. Maluk stops him, and TeamOne still clawing back round after round. They are now within 1.
Excellent shot from Maluk under heavy duress. As you said, he took that insta-dink. If he misses, he dies, and it's a 1v1 scenario. As it stands, though, it's another eco with a scout put in play for C9. Such a solid, strong start. It seemed that rusted, withered away, but now the tetanus is coming back and affecting them once more. Cloud9 losing the first player. MOTM, one of their main fraggers over the duration of this tournament, has been suppressed. And JT having to use his USP at range to see if he can silence a few more players, but it's not looking good. Smokes and mollies being tossed in. Bomb's still back on the long doors, so they haven't fully committed to this anyway, TeamOne. It seems like they're going to bait out this rotation and then try and dissect Cloud9 across the map. Pacer taking point in middle, freebie onto Floppy. He was waiting to find a second player, maybe perched up in CT, doesn't find him, so he executes the kill, and that opens up B for business. It's just whether they can maybe kill Barton at range, but his tapping is so good. Oh my goodness. Fair enough, it's an anti-eco, but still, that aim was pristine.
Hey now, mister. Okay, Barton, welcome to the show. You know what really scares me, Vince? What really puts Cloud9 in a pickle is that everybody from TeamOne has 8 to 9 kills. And that's something that wasn't there when they almost beat Furia. You know, it was a top-heavy affair. They're starting to play this one shoulder to shoulder. They're going to get themselves a clash on Cat. 2 CTs already around the first corner. Oh, they go for the boost, takes damage, but Malbs, he does get hit by that op. Lucky to be alive. Do they try and redeploy this? They can't. Not with the Molotov there. They'd have to wait it out just a little bit. Sonic will stick around, eyes up on mid. Meanwhile, because of the 2 players on the catwalk, of course TeamOne are going to go try and take that long control, because unless there's 3 A players, and odds are if there is, he's on site, they can take long for absolutely free. But look at this, Modem, he's going to get aggressive. Sonic tries to follow suit and will trade, hitting the wall bang through the ledge of Cat. You love to see it. Just a warning sign for that Tunnels player to back off ever so slightly. However, as said, that long control plays into the round now. They see the head cross on Sonic, has to fall back. His teammates so stranded in mid, Vince, that they have to play the retake if they even take the chance.
Yeah, that's the issue, and I honestly think we could be looking at a save. I know it's a bit of pill to swallow at this stage in the map, but when you consider there's no kits in play and only 2 nades, now a third's just been picked up, they may try their hand at catwalk. If they get a pick, they'll go for it. If not, they may have to think about pulling back. But there's also a flanker in amongst all of the chaos. Barton is making moves, but the first 2 kills going to go the way of Cloud9, and now that flank becomes that little bit more important. Barton now shows his hand, snapping away Sonic. OC spins around for one and a second as well. There's no kit though, and there's no time. So disappointing for OC after 2 beautiful frags, but that is the CT side in a nutshell. Sometimes it doesn't matter, and TeamOne take the lead.
I can get behind the effort, flying across those boxes. I mean, the flicks are just as nice as the movement, really. Audacious decision to jump across like that. Trying to challenge at a distance, I'd say more than up close. Realizing he has put himself on a pedestal, and still he holds the balancing act, but Maluk through the mid doors. Oh, and a second into OC. They are still going to pull off that Tunnels push, but Barton quickly kills the one man who got a frag off for Cloud9. And then further damage through the doors again. Hello, Maluk. We have seen his teammates shine, and he has had crucial kills at times. But never have we seen him take control of a map like this, Vince. The op in mid sings here in round 14.
And TeamOne are hitting some beautiful high notes. That is going to be 7 rounds in a row, Scrawny. This was 6-1 to Cloud9 at one point. How the tables have turned. Do they still go in for this? If Sonic is watching the cross alongside JT, they have a scout and an AWP in play. All it takes is for one of those shots to land. And this could get interesting. I was assuming this round was a done deal, but maybe not. Maybe there's a few more questions to be asked. Good incendiary tossed in, gonna do a bit of damage, forces the T's to push out. They are looking to try and boost over this smoke, but now there's a molly behind them. They need to be very careful. If they lose these two weapons, there's gonna be a distinct lack of weaponry going into the final round of the half, and that might be the call that is coming through right now. But they decide to keep pressing forward. JT taking damage, still comes out with a scout. You can see from Sonic's perspective, he could see the barrel of the gun for so long, but couldn't get the frag. But PRT holds the line for a 1v2 as they run into him, run into the blender, and TeamOne 8-6 lead is theirs.
Maluk kicking it off here in middle. This round really dominated by the Oppers. Sonic, the patience as he saw the tip of the barrel. I mean, the first shot he literally put through the barrel, but the physics don't work like that, Vince. You can't bend the man in half. To wait for the peak, knowing that he was there, just excellent patience. Almost, nearly enough. But the clutch from PRT. Now Cloud9 damaged early because of the auto sniper door spam. Yuck. Two snipers still for Cloud9, of course. OC, being the one-man tag, takes his position on plat, scoped in, calls out Maluk. It's not the only terrorist in position, however. There's 3 more, 4 more inside those tunnels, and they try to announce themselves with flashbangs. They better not line up. OC starting to come alive here. There's his second kill of the round, trying to close the half with a round count as close as can be.
He's had a bit of a quiet one so far, so good to see him get a couple of frags in this one. Could be securing a 7th round for Cloud9. Wouldn't be the end of the world. MOTM, not for the first time contending with that Xbox smoke, but he won't miss this time around. Spray on point. PRT and Pacer have to try and make something happen, and that grenade could not have been better placed or better timed. But Sonic gonna get splattered as a result, clobbered down as the T's look to try and pillage the site. It's going to be a 2v4 retake, both low HP. This could put them into positions where they try and play aggressively as a result to bypass and mitigate that lack of HP. See if they can maybe get a spray down, catch the CTs off guard, but there was no hope. As soon as PRT went down scoredy, Pacer was absolutely boned.
Yep. He knew he was done for, and so is this first half from TeamOne. A good showing on the T side, considering how Cloud9 took over at the very start of this map. I think they're sweating bullets. They'll have to wipe their brow as we take a pause at the half. Join us in just a bit to see if Cloud9 answer back.
Bust another move, get on down. Bust another move, get on down. Bust another move, get on down, down. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Fly individual, high in the spiritual. Life can get rid of you. This what I'm gonna do. Kick off my shoes, get in the mood, get on down, get in the groove. I feel alive, I can't hide. Look in my eyes, I feel excited. I got the Midas touch, and I'm the brightest. I'm gonna try my luck. Are you ready to roll? I'm getting on they last, I'm steady on go. I'm all up in the back, I'm heavy a pro. I take them all to class, I pin on the show. I do it with pizzazz, I polish my own crown. They know I'm in my bag, I body them on down. I'm who they can't pass, I handle my all frowns. They camera soft flash like this is my song now. Yeah. Bust another move, get on down. Bust another move, get on down. Bust another move, get on down. Bust another move, get on down, down. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Watch me do my thing. I get out of control, I take off like a plane. I crew check the moves, I rock out with a bang. I do just what I do at the top of my game. Top of my game, lots pit to shame. Come deal with the crew, I stop them in a lane. Who's worried about who? I drop them with a flame. They coming for round 2, like watch me entertain, yeah. Bust another move, get on down. Bust another move, get on down. Bust another move, get on down. Bust another move, get on down, down. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Bust another move, hello, oh. Bust another move, down. Get on down, down. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my other move. Get on down, bust another move, get on down, bust another move, get on down, bust another move, get on down, down. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose.
You know, I hope you guys really enjoy those CT dancing animations, because I'll let you in on some insider knowledge. Vince, those are soon to be released Valve-sponsored emotes. That's right, emotes coming to Counter-Strike soon.
Oh no, don't give the mighty 20 for the love of God. Pacing now with his P2000. Trying to neutralize any of those thoughts in the minds of Cloud9. And Sonic's going to be getting up close with his P250. 2 kills up close and personal. And it's looking good for C9 to secure the second pistol. But still, Maluk and Barton stand up against them. Not for much longer, or perhaps they do. Barton, he runs out of ammunition, switches to his grenade and gets caught by Floppy. Cloud9 will take it. Very close, but fast lightning round.
Yeah, I mean, at the top of that mid clash, Vince, when they started moving up catwalk, I'm thinking to myself, okay, Cloud9 pistol. Barton's really the only player that makes me think otherwise. But then you saw him kind of stranded as he attempted to tuck back into the CT spawn. So Floppy picks up the clutch. Floppy picks up the pistol. And now the double scout setup here from TeamOne. We've got Deagles across the board, and you got to keep your eyes on TeamOne when they've got them nasty Deags. I think they caught Furia by surprise with them once or twice. In the grand scheme of things, what's Cloud9 in comparison? Right now, they're the team that have got you tied up on your own map choice with the T side ahead. But Maluk's scout looking crisp. Anticipates the walkout here from Modem while also putting damage down. But Barton and Maluk just tearing through the T side. More scout damage being done. Almost everybody dead already, but a chance still to claw this one back. However, look at the health. Floppy and Sonic Vince, they would both die to another scout connection. And both of those little snipers still up.
So confused as to what Cloud9's game plan was this round. And now Maluk is going to punish one more player. He is low HP. One bullet from this AK on Floppy will finalize, but you could really say the same the other way around. Floppy is living and hanging by a thread on borrowed time, and Maluk spirals him out of 4K. But as soon as you hear scouts ripping out through middle, maybe don't peek mid, guys, or at least smoke it off.
They thought they could close the gap. They thought maybe Maluk was on his own. And I was thinking that frag right there. You know, Modem, he was about to come through the doors. Maluk's on CT. We're focused on his perspective because he's putting out that damage like nobody else. But Barton was also there. And Barton shuts down the mid peak, allowing Maluk to just continue putting damage over top of him. So nasty double scout setup. Amazing damage output there from Maluk on the force buy. And that is exactly what TeamOne would want. They lose the pistol. May I add, in the 1v1 of all things, thanks to Barton's near heroics. And then Maluk steps up big. And maybe it was fair to say that he wasn't going to be able to find as much impact as he normally would versus the likes of Henny yesterday. But right now, he is the dominant force, excellently positioned yet again. Maluk just having a field day. Shot after shot connects to the heads and chests of the T side. Floppy looking to bring this one back in a 1 versus 3 with the Deagle. He should have no business winning this. And as long as nobody gives him a chance back in, it is so stacked against him. Maluk on the sideline with fingers crossed. Please finish this, he says. And Barton will oblige.
Great round from Maluk, but great round from Cloud9. They took 4 players down, and had it have not been for this heroic stand from the Brazilian, things could have got so sketchy there. So C9 keeping themselves close enough, but they're not going to be able to capitalize from that weakened economy. They decide not to go in for any kind of a force. They want to play for round 20. So TeamOne going to be able to bypass any of those problems if they navigate themselves into a fairly easy round and easy spray for the 2 MP9 wielders. If the SMGs get all the frags, that's going to be ideal, but 2 kills at least go the way of C9 with effectively Glocks. So I think both teams will be relatively happy with that outcome, but TeamOne now starting to extend that lead. A 3-round lead on their choice of map.
If I'm TeamOne, I kind of write off what happened in the round previous, where we had Maluk with the 4K, 4 players die, whatever not, because the 2 MP9s you had that round get the majority of the kills. Those are the guys who have to rebuy. They've got all the money in the world. So it's just right back to where they were. The nature of that last anti-eco offsets the heftier price tag of the one just before it. 3-round lead. I think that's the most important takeaway from the last couple of rounds. Wall of smoke fades. Sonic, he goes to check top tunnels, and Barton keeps him honest. Pushes him right back down into the depths. Now PRT, he has had to forfeit that long control. They've got mobs on the bomb site. No scope to keep the T's at a longer distance. They've grouped up on the side of the smoke grenade. PRT goes through and goes down. Paceless grenade kills Floppy, and off of Goose, it's Mobs now down. Oh, but another frag, this time off of Barton. Leaves the bomb stranded on the boxes, and OC in the 1v3. He'll take his bomb back, or will he? First, he wants to kill Pesa. The other 2 defenders both coming up from the spawn. He sees the trajectory of the nades. He gets aggressive. OC's looking for another, and he doesn't know, but he has the show all under wraps. Big clutch from OC, just keeping the gun up, ignoring the bomb. Vince, he got the job done.
Oh man, OC's picked up a couple of beautiful clutches in this tournament. One in Inferno with the AWP, and now showing he can also use the AK-47, no problems, no questions asked. He's going to get dropped the AWP, and our TeamOne, they've got to call a tactical timeout. This is a team emergency. What the hell do we do, guys? Like, let's just detox first, but secondly, what's our buy situation? 2 of us can afford rifles. Malbs could maybe dip in for like a FAMAS, something similar to that, but it's really PRT and Pacer that are going to be feeling the sting in this. So Cloud9, after letting a beautiful start to this map slip from a 6-1 lead to losing at halftime, they have done what they needed to bring this economy down, to give them a real shot at tying us back up again. And those are the kind of plays as well, Scrawny, that if you're rusty, if you're not necessarily feeling like 100%, those are the kind of plays that wake your team up, that motivate them, that hype them, make them believe that you can win this map.
And to do so, as there was just that 3-round lead, Cloud9 right back in this. They just have to make sure that they don't die to the lesser weaponry of TeamOne this round. Modem still having PTSD flashbacks to that round with the scouts in mid. A little bit worried about moving through those double doors perhaps, but Maluk, he's going to play close cat. He has had an excellent game thus far. 21 kills to his name for the moment. T's patient as ever, waiting out that smoke. PRT, I thought he would make contact and Maluk would get set up, but Maluk actually drops down because there's that possibility of a mid to B split. They're going to run boost a man over. This should screw with the crosshair of the Deeg, and then he gets nothing. You know, he's looking for that one headshot connection. Maluk's position could be countered by a Molotov, of which there are 2 left over for Cloud9. 40 seconds, and they start to throw out utility.
I've slipped out of rounds. Better than this scenario though, Cloud9. They've got to be cognizant of that. PRT, good dig, but Maluk gets traded out. Now a scurry of CTs making moves up the ramp, doing some damage, got an AWP in their hands, but Floppy's Galil is too good. And it will be Cloud9 onto a 10th. And you know, Scrawny, if Cloud9 end up winning this map, that OC clutch is where I go back to, and I say that was the fulcrum point. That's where the seesaw started to tip in balance of Cloud9. TeamOne have got to bounce back.
they shouldn't do it this round. Not with this limited of weaponry. Cloud9 back in control. I mean, the A site, and most notably just ramp control in general, has kind of been the death of TeamOne. You know, you go back to that 1 versus 3 with OC. That was not a retake because bomb wasn't even planted. It's like they got kind of wrapped up in the momentum of trying to stop it all. And maybe the best bet could have been to hit the brakes a bit. But easy round this time. They head over towards that A site. They just chew through the CTs before they even need to plant. So let's not talk about round 22. Let's focus on the 23rd.
MOTM just pulled off a sick 180 spin there to get a double from car to CT. It's the anti-eco, of course, so as you said, Connor, let's focus on 23. This round should be a whole lot closer. A lot more competitive, long being contested from both teams. 6 players over here to start things off, but PRT and now Maluk going to be joining the defense on the A side, leaving Mulbs alone. Not much utility left alive. Smokes distinguishing between the two teams on long, but now it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Maluk goes back in for another one. He's trading out. PRT and Pacer holding the line on A have suddenly put this into a 1v3. It's seemingly like they are going to recover and not fully get knocked out from that previous round. OC's on for another 1v3, but the problem is he's been tagged down to 14. He's in a really awkward spot. At least he has the bomb, though, and a bit of utility to play with.
And unlike his last 1 versus 3, he is no longer sitting in a position where the CTs think they can just overwhelm him. He had a chance with that deagle at the top of mid. I'm sure that you can all imagine a world where he just smashes Barton's teeth in, and then the 1 versus 2 leaves TeamOne kind of scurrying off, not sure which site he ends up on because there was so much time to play this clutch. And he could still win it with miraculously placed op shots, but he will have to dodge bullets like Neo or get the drop on all of them. He's going to get very close to the bomb site, just playing around with the corner, which is not being watched, but he takes his nades out, and that is the end of him. PRT patience on Goose pays off, and TeamOne were once leading by 3. No longer the case, but at least they're in control. That's what they'll be reassuring themselves with, and on top of that, an op save forward, rifles to be bought back up. Now they're chipping away at that cash of Cloud9. The reason Cloud9 closed the gap is because the economy fell so short for the CT side. Now it's their job to do the same thing to the offense, but an offense that is going to take this one with a rapid pace. They are already up catwalk, 3 players, 2 about to challenge long. No rotate over yet from TeamOne. There's a lot of pressure here on both Maluk and PRT, and the Opera of Maluk decides to dive down into his own spawn. That leaves the M4 all on his own, and he's going to get peppered by Modem. A man advantage up here for Cloud9. Maluk's going to have to move this sniper. They don't want to retake from their spawn itself. They don't want to retake at all.
Yeah, they just got off the phone with their accountant who said, pull the plug right now. Your economy is in no shape to go for this. Highly recommend saving. They listened. They heeded his advice. And now Cloud9 going to have their 12th round, and they get it clean. So it's not as if they're going to have to worry about rebuying either. And with this bomb exploding, money will be trickling into their accounts nicely, siphoned off from the CT side. So all even again, we thought this best of 3 would be close. We thought it may even go to 3 maps. And so far, it is delivering on that promise. TeamOne, though, with saved weapons and 4 of them to boot, can drop a weapon across and have a solid purchase of their own. So we go again, Connor. We're going to be getting buys from here until the end of time, it would seem. And I'm very happy with that outcome.
Cloud9 always giving us a close show. Got to appreciate that, Vince. See if TeamOne want to take control of it. Pull up the curtain to reveal the bare bones of Cloud9, who currently reside in mid with no contest. You know, considering how successful they were with those scouts that one round, it's never fun to peek mid as a CT, but damn, Maluk, he is on point. And OC's there if he wants to take the fight. We could get those straight up op duels. I just think with the sheer numbers of Cloud9, though, that's such a risk to run. I feel like they are always prepared to pounce through for the mid control. But neglecting the B site and heading towards A once more. Smoke down on the catwalk, met by grenades. Negligible damage on the first one. The second's a bit chunkier. 3 C's on that thick. Doesn't connect his shot. And again, they have options open. They don't want to telegraph their play, or else TeamOne will stack it ahead of you. And you can see that stack right now. That B site looks weak.
Purely down to, as you said, the fact they've just barely attacked this part of the map, and now TeamOne gonna potentially get caught out, but there's a gap in that smoke, and PRT makes the most of it. 3 kills, gonna go down in quick succession. Now Pacer cleans up from the backside with the quick flank, and maybe this is why Cloud9 haven't really ventured over on the B site. TeamOne shut them down easily. All 5 players survive, and Cloud9 in trouble.
Trailing by 1 yet again. Luckily, they've got that buyback, but this is what I was talking about, chipping away at the cash. The reward for TeamOne winning a 14th round right now is that the 15th one should come with it. Nearly tethered, but it's Maluk early on to be pressured. They're going to go ahead and dive behind the blue box. There is an Opera and OC if they want to try and position him in pit. Right now, he's over towards tunnels, so far removed from the situation that Maluk will have op dominance on long A. Smokes fade. 2 Ts remain. The other duo has doubled back through their spawn, but Maluk's attention still drawn to this side of the map, as is 3 of his teammates. Once again, conditioning this A hold. And I think this is a great call from Cloud9. They weren't able to use that mid to B at any point, but just the 3-man tunnels hit versus Barton. He has give us reason to praise him. Can he deliver yet again? No. Absolutely empty-handed, Vince. A little bit of damage, sure enough, but Floppy, he's going to bomb plant. And just as quickly as they had to save 2 rounds ago, that happens yet again. Cloud9 do not win this with bronze, but rather brains.
Credit as well to Cloud9. After you just got backhanded, pulverized in the previous round, trying to hit B, you go for it again, realizing, okay, look, maybe we were slightly off in our calculations. The end destination needs to be the same, but how we get there, the journey just needs to be tweaked a tad, and it works out flawlessly. The reason why TeamOne is still in this half, I would say, is because of their economy management has been so good. The last 5 rounds, Swanee, have actually gone back and forth. It's been CTT, CTT, CT again, and it's one of these situations where if TeamOne go for these retakes and lose their weapons, you're probably looking at Cloud9 just running away with this map. So very well done to call the early retakes, to position yourself where you're actually stacking sites. It's easier to save and you make sure no one's flanking. So 13 apiece, TeamOne to continue the sequence. They need to win this round.
I think that the sequence is the last thing on their mind, Vince.
Oh, yeah.
Giving that 14th over, oh, it could come back to bite them. PRT is going to be met by some utility. And this, to me, is trying to indicate another mid to B hit. Some sort of presence to get that stack off of the A site. Think about it. They've had 4 players here all too often. Malbs, he sticks around just long enough for the nasty 1-tap. There's the 2nd kill onto Floppy. Cloud9 trying to trick them into stacking the site that they had just taken for free. But the trickery comes up short. Instead, we get a treat. That long hold was perfect. Malb's first shot accuracy slays the door peak. And this is sneaky. JT and Sonic checking out their shoes as they try to cross over to the site. And that's no problem for TeamOne because they just goose egg that bomb. And they will hold on to it for dear life. PRT has 2 players drop into him, and he almost handles them both. Of course, JT could drop Barton, but instead he peeks into the scope, and it's all on Malbs this round, denying that long play near single-handedly. Maluk, 25 kills now as well.
Just love how calm he is. Like that first 1-tap, and then the second player comes around the corner. You wouldn't blame him if he went for a straight-up spray, but he was still tapping. He was still being very calm and collected, and for such a young man, very impressive. In a pressure cooker situation like this, one of the biggest games of his life. And he's performing. He's not crumbling. He's standing tall. He's delivering with kills. They also made a slight adjustment that last round. The one prior, they had Barton on B alone with an assault rifle. Last time he was with an AWP. So they still feel confident enough to put him alone on B, but he has that AWP. So if they line up again and by hugging the left-hand side of the entrance point to B, well, that's where collaterals come in. That's where he can actually just straight up hold it alone. He can take a one and done shot, then fall back and play for the retake. But it's going to be aggression up on long. Maluk goes out, so many flashes in his eyes. He has to back away, but Pacer, aggression up middle. Flashbang out from MOTM does more harm. They line up for a triple, and TeamOne may be on the cusp of taking their choice of map after all. And Pacer still in position to strike for another one. A 4K for Pacer when it truly counts.
Big plays being made by the members of TeamOne. We had Maluk on the 4K with the scout in the second round of the CT side. Then we've got Pesa this round, just taking charge to the top of mid. That second player got flashed by Modem. So JT and Sonic affected by the flash of Modem in mid. You know, maybe that is an immediate trade frag. Sure, Pesa, he could have still killed the first, but you saw the second T fall back behind the corner, making that moment of disjointedness, not being able to trade right away. And then he just gets shish kebab with the players that are behind him, Vince. That has to hurt. TeamOne taking 15 off of a huge move by Pesa. And he was just moments ago their bottom fragger. Not like he's trailing all the way at the, depths of the scoreboard, but right again, into the pack with TeamOne. And that's the beauty of this first map. It has been a pack mentality. They are working together. They are working in unison, and more often than not, because of the fact that they are so many times stacking 4 or 3 players together at the starts of the round. And this one, no different. It's just Barton with the op alone on B. Early A stack to get that pit control and immediately moving members back towards middle. Good call. Because with the limited weaponry that Cloud9 have left over, they're going to go for something ballsy. They have to play together. They need to trade. They need to pick up the guns. Their damage output limited by the weaponry they hold for now. But upgrades can be made. Pesa plays closed door. Floppy walks right into it. The barrel of the Deagle gives him up, but JT's trade works out excellently. And they still have enough utility to put this B site in question. Barton completely alone, ignoring tunnels, and that is the right call to make. He puts himself on full display, and PRT can trade it. A 1 versus 3 from Modem, but he doesn't have the bomb. All he's got's the op, and Maluk will take that down. You've got TeamOne in victory lane here on Dust 2.
Solid victory from TeamOne, and now we head over to Overpass, the choice of Cloud9. They had chances, Scrawny. They could have done it. They could have feasibly picked this off and maybe even taken the series 2-0, but it wasn't to be.
Nope, not today, Vince. Not today. But maybe, just maybe, we'll get that 3-mapper that Frey is talking about. She's onto something with her prediction. After the break, we'll have our experts on the desk, and then me and Vince will meet you guys on that second map.
They made it a close one, and by the skin of their teeth, TeamOne take it home. 16-13 for the Brazilians on Dust 2, and with that, only 1 map between them and the playoffs. That map will come in the form of Overpass, but first we have got to break all this action down. And Christine, where are you standing after that one?
Oh man, can I change my prediction or
come over to my side of eye?
I want to, Freya. Accept me over there. Let me hop on over because man, TeamOne brought the fire. Pesa at 14-13 on a gun round, full round. I mean, your nerves start creeping up. You're almost bringing over the finish line. Not Pesa. He looks cool, calm, and collected because he pushed up mid and finds himself a 4 kill on a gun round. Just totally surprising and owning Cloud9. Cloud9 on their side of the map. So I'm thoroughly impressed with TeamOne.
And that's what's so amazing about this squad is, looking at the scoreboard here, it may not reflect that. Pacer had such an incredible round right there at the end. But that's what Connor was saying. It's a pack mentality with these guys. And I think that's what's so dangerous about them, Sudan.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at all the players, like Maluk with that scout, Jesus Christ, what is he on, right? You have PRT with a round of his own. Boston steps up. Pacer, like you pointed out, that 3K, 4K top mid. Malbs as well, like everyone seems to be having fun. Everyone seems to be like hitting the shots. Also, Cloud9 did make a few mistakes and they got punished for it. It was a very close series. It could have definitely gone either way. And I love the fact that Cloud9 got punished. They were looking for duels and TeamOne, well, they gave it to them.
Yeah, and I think we need to pick up on one of those rounds in particular. Blair, I know you have something that you want to break down.
Yeah, so score's 8-8, right? The score's 8-8, and we have a little bit of stats here for you guys here. The score's 8-8, and you look at the pistol round. Who won the pistol round? Cloud9. They got the guns. Look at the utility, all right? They got a Molotov. They have 5 smokes and a lot of flashbangs. Who's in mid? It's Maluk. And see what happens here, right? He's going to be holding this line for quite a while. He hasn't spotted anyone out. They have one flashbang to pop for MO team to like to peer towards Cat. And then Maluk, he hits the first shot. He gets the kill. What do? They continue to face him without using the utility. Just smoke him off. Why are you taking the fight to these scouts? And Barton comes in. Great shot onto MOTM. Maluk with another kill on the OC. And it just fall apart. Sonic, yeah, I think they get 1 kill, but that's about it. Sorry, Floppy actually finds mobs, but doesn't matter. Maluk with the 4K, finishing out the final 2 players as well. And this was Cloud9 just... This is not how you play. I know you're the better team, but you're not playing like the better team. You don't want to give these opportunities. It's just a light buy, just the scouts smoke him off. Take advantage of the fact that you have those smokes, those flashbangs, and of course the next turn Maluk. This was an expensive round for them, but still, this guy is pretty sick. And he was pointed out by us earlier that he was kind of quiet in a previous game, but boy, oh boy, he woke up.
He really brought the heat to this series, but we're going to be swiftly moving on to Overpass. This is going to be the second map of the series, and this is Cloud9's map pick. And interestingly, we don't really see TeamOne playing this much, do we, Potter?
We don't. And Cloud9 historically, they've had some trouble with Dust 2. Moving forward to Overpass, this is bread and butter almost for Cloud9. You're going to see OC looking a lot more comfortable with that AWP. I mean, he had some brilliant clutches once again on this Dust 2, but I think on this Overpass, he's going to be able to find a lot more opening kills on the CT side of things, really control those bathroom areas because they're going to need it. Cloud9 absolutely need him and MOTM to control that blue connector area. If they can control that mid portion of the map to their advantage, TeamOne's shenanigans, their aggression, it should be cut short before it even gets started.
Yeah, and I love you picked up on OC there because, Blair, you said about him before, you can't really rely on him to do all the clutch work. And I feel like they kind of did on that first map. What do you see of Cloud9 going into Overpass?
The bright side, Floppy, he had a decent game. Him waking up is a good thing, but I completely agree with Potter. I feel like they're going to feel much more comfortable in Overpass. And OC, he was looking pretty sharp on Dust 2. Hopefully, they've woken up, kind of like rubbed the sand from their eyes, and we should be seeing a better Cloud9 here.
Well, this map means tournament life. Can TeamOne close it out in 2, or will Cloud9 take it to a 3rd? Find out after this.